Not yet. I'll let you know here in just a second. Okay, I'm good to go. Are you good?
Yeah. All right. So this is Assistant Attorney General Charles Koyman. The time is 11:17. Board discussion and executive session is now concluded, and the board is returning to open session.
Okay, thank you. Can we ask a board member to please make a motion associated with the discussion in executive session?
Sure, this is now Wareham. I can make a motion. In the matters regarding that are pending before the board and pending litigation, including Fontanari versus MLRB 2021 CA 941 and Fontanari versus MLRB 2020 CV 34098. I move the board authorize Senior Assistant Attorney General Koyman to continue settlement negotiations and authorize the board chair to sign final settlement documents as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you. Okay. With that, I think we're going to move back up into item number 8, enforcement hearing for HCR High Country Repair, file number M-2003-002. I'm going to check in one more time. Mr. Lundberg, have you heard from the operator at all?
No, I haven't. I've reached out to them both email and by phone. I've got their voicemail and I have not gotten anything back via email.
Okay, thank you very much. At this point, I think I'm going to open it up to board discussion. Are we comfortable moving forward with making a motion on this case, or would we prefer to continue this until next month when maybe the operator could join us?
What can I ask a question? What is the staff's communication been with this operator in the past? I mean, is this unusual or is this usual?
No, this is keeping with the communication that we've had with them, both in trying to schedule an inspection of the site. Several times we had coordinated an inspection and then at the last moment, nobody could be there to meet us and they canceled. I was finally able to schedule an inspection time, although it was rather difficult. From the issuing of the inspection report, along with the cost estimate associated with the bond increase, as well as the RTB letter, we sent it to them hard copy, and then I sent it to them via email. And I also reached out with a follow-up email, as well as a phone call, and did not hear from them aside from saying that they were looking at the cost estimate, and they had no further questions. When I issued the surety increase SI2, I did it both hard copy as well as email, and followed up with another voicemail call, and didn't hear anything aside from we're looking at it. And it's what we've seen today is in keeping with our communications with them.
Madam Chair, this is Russ Means, and to follow up with and to add on for Patrick is that, you know, we did send the RTB and stuff has all the information regarding the date and time of this meeting. Also, the invitation to attend and stuff via Zoom with the link and stuff was also provided to them and stuff weeks ago. So and we did not receive any kind of communications and stuff that they were having difficulty with that particular format or anything like that. So, but it is your discretion as to how you want to proceed.
Great, thank you. Any other thoughts from board members?
You know, I mean, my thought with this, I think it's really a shame that the operator is not able to join us, although they did make the attempt. Although, you know, with Mr. Lindbergh, they haven't kind of said, hey, we're having technical difficulties, please wait. I do have some concerns, you know, in allowing them to continue operating, because I think they need maybe some opportunity to speak to this contract minor SRAM mix. They're, you know, in addition to our lack of communication with them, maybe they need some more clarity for their operator. There's the permit boundary issues. There's certainly that, you know, effluent stream bed that has some stuff in it that's not great for the overall environment. I feel like the suggested board actions or suggested staff recommendations are pretty, you know, fair. There's nothing terribly difficult that we're asking them to accomplish. And I think if they could do that, maybe they would all have some better clarity. So, well, I think it's a shame that they're not on the call. I sort of feel like for the state of Colorado and the environment, we should move forward and take some action on this today.
Yeah, I would agree. And I can I appeal again to you now to make that motion? I just don't have, I'm not armed with the paperwork, but you carried the load and I appreciate it.
Sure. But go ahead if there's other discussion, or I certainly don't want to be the only one taking us down this path if others feel differently, because I'm
I agree with
moderately
you.
conflicted in it. I just feel badly that they're not here.
I do too.
Yeah, Ms. Nelson, Mr. Lovato, Mr. Ortiz, do you have thoughts on this?
People have choices and it takes some initiative on their part, so it sounds fair.
I agree with that. They were on, if they were having technical difficulties or needed to sign in by phone, I feel like they could communicate that with Mr. Lindbergh. So I think there's been plenty of opportunity to show up today for them.
I agree with Patrick's comments.
Okay, well, I guess at that point we can close deliberation, and I would ask you for a motion, please, Ms. Graham.
Okay, in the matter of permit M-2003-002, Ghost River Gravel Pit and High Country Repair, I move the board issue a cease and desist, up here. Find the operator in violation pursuant to CRS 3432.5, 116.4, parent 1, for failure to protect areas outside of the affected land from slides or damages occurring during the mining operation. That we issue a cease and desist order prohibiting further mining activities except those approved by the division in writing as necessary to comply with conditions of the order and prevent damage to offsite areas and to protect public health and safety until the corrective actions have been resolved to the satisfaction of the division. That within 90 days of the effective date of the board's order, that the operator file a conversion application to include the area affected outside the approved permit boundary with all the materials in an approvable form within the statutory timeframes. And pursuant to CRS 3432.5, 124, parent 7, that the board assists a civil penalty of $43,000 with all but $4,300 suspended if the corrective actions cited above are completed to the satisfaction of the division within the required deadlines.
Thank you. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, hearing none, the motion passes. Thank you, and thanks for the patience today and the good discussion around this. So with that, I believe we are, I think we've completed our agenda for the day, and I think we're all wrapped up for the September Land Reclamation Board. Chuck, you look like you have something to say there, but.
No, I was just gonna say thank you.
It looks like Mr. Lobato had something to say.
I have some general questions. And when I was trying to do research on the agenda items, is there an easier way to do it or just have to click back through all the minutes?
So Cami I think you got a rather large PDF that had all the materials that go with each agenda item. There's bookmarks within the PDF. If you need a paper copy because it's easier to deal with, which is fair. There's a lot of stuff to look at here. Just let Cami know, and we can make sure that you get a paper copy if that's easier for you to be able to kind of flip back and forth with the materials.
Okay.
And Anthony, also what I can do is if you tell me specifics on who it is that you want some past details on, I'd be more than happy to go back and see what I can find and send it to you as that individual packet
Okay.
versus the whole packet.
Okay. And then on penalties, how are those enforced? Who collects the penalties, and if most of it's going to be forgiven, like Mr. Singletary was saying, you know, if you want to get their attention, you can raise the initial penalty and then bring it back to whatever we want. Is that how does that work?
Go ahead, Chuck, go ahead if you want.
Yeah, I was going to say the statutory penalties are set forth in each of the acts. So we've got the Hard Rock and the Construction and the Coal Act, and we'll kind of get into this in more nuts and bolts next month when we do the training. But you probably noticed from the motions and what was going on today that there's a range based on the violation that gets assessed, and you know, the board's discretion to suspend some of those civil penalties is there as well. In terms of how the penalties are enforced, the payments are made to the division, and then if someone doesn't pay, usually goes through the state collections process.
Okay. I guess just personally, I just want to get a feel for the responsibilities of the board. And then finally, how are bonds approved, and why do so many of them seem to be inadequate?
Chuck, I can answer that if you want me to.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have over 1,300 permits. So you will see over the course of your time and stuff and that, about 2% of those and stuff come before the board and stuff that when it comes to the bonding and stuff. So by the time it gets to you, things are in crisis and stuff, and so that's usually it's stuff the case and stuff where there isn't enough bond and there's a reason for that. The operators are defunct or whatever. So you will see you see the ugly part of that. You don't see that the largest, we have 98% compliance and stuff from our operators. So the overriding majority of them and stuff and that are fine. But when they get to you, a lot of times and stuff, that's where we're, you know, things are collapsing and things are bad, and that. So, and we'll get into this some more and stuff next month and stuff. But when we go and do an inspection on a lot of these sites, it's every 3 to 4 years. It's mandatory for our staff and stuff to update those bonds in order to ensure and stuff that they are that it accounts for inflation as well as on-site conditions. And in a lot of cases and stuff like the one you had today and stuff, they may be committed to say 100 feet of high wall and they've got 1,500 feet of high wall, and that will drive up their costs and stuff exponentially and stuff. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. And but when you see them in that, unfortunately, a lot of times and stuff, that's why is because they're already in crisis. And while we've tried to do the best we can and stuff, there's we're at our end and stuff too.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your questions and thanks for the additional discussion. We will look forward to seeing everyone in October then, and have a great rest of your day and great rest of your month.
Thanks, everybody. Have a
Thank
good day.
you.